Museum Starter Kit it's a celebration of the 45th anniversary of the Museo. And it looks specifically at the work of Raphael Montañez Ortiz, who's the founder of the Museo. It looks at the works that he made in the period before, during, and after the founding of the Museo. And he's a key figure in the exhibition because he was politically committed to making a space for Puerto Ricans in East Harlem to have a museum. It was his idea when the Board of Ed came to him and said, we need curriculum for Puerto Rican school children who are not being taught their heritage and culture in the public school system. He said, let's make a curriculum, but let's also found a museum. And so it's his thinking very broadly that way that I think created the museum as a whole. And it's his spirit that continues to drive what we do today. So the exhibition as a whole sort of celebrates his legacy. Okay, so the participatory elements were really important to us because one of the things that Raphael Montañez Ortiz did when he founded a museo is to think about ways in which the community could participate. And so we have two elements that I think we could call participatory. One is where we I think fall in line with a lot of questioning of institutional practice that's going on right now in the world about what goes in a museum, who decides what goes in, how does an exhibition look, who makes those decisions, and what kind of objects do we want. When you create a museum, you need a space, you need objects, you need ideas, right? And so those three things, I think, are here in one of the galleries where people can pick objects from the world of art history as broadly as possible and make their own museum. And then the second part is, I think, even more engaging. We've asked people from Harlem and East Harlem to bring us objects from their home that are art. And some of them are paintings, and some are photographs. There's bracelets, there's cocktail shakers, there's a little bit of everything. So it's, again, a way to question what is a museum and ask other people to participate in the answer. It's different almost for every work, and sometimes it depends on things that I already know are going to be in the show. So for example, since the show opens with a series of works by Raphael Montañez Ortiz, that made me think also about other people who do work that dovetails in some way with his work. So for example, I went to Beverly Acha's studio and she showed me many paintings. And they were all lovely, but then she showed me on her computer some images of sculptures that she had done when she was still in school, and I thought they were fantastic, and they also worked really well with two sculptures in the show that are by Raphael Montañez Ortiz. They had the same kind of spirit about them, besides the same shape, and the same kind of attention to the way the form is put together. I thought they matched what he was interested in 1972 really well, even though she did it in 2010. She was looking at what ends up being sort of indigenous forms, these pyramid shapes that we associate with, in our hemisphere, we associate with Mesoamerica and the Incan and the Aztec empires. And so I thought it was a nice conversation that the two were having. Mm-hmm. And then for other works, it's something as simple as it's from the permanent collection. We haven't shown it before. It's a nice time to pull it out because it has political significance, which matches what Raphael was working on also. Ideally, there's no surprises. We had a surprise at the last minute when works that we thought were one size were actually another size. We had to get different frames for them, which we already had. We just had to go get them in storage. I guess the best, most pleasant, and I wouldn't say surprise because I had expected that it would be fantastic, is the painting that showed Raphael Montañez Ortiz destroying a piano. That's based on a classic photo from 1966 or 67. I think it's 66 when he did one of his earliest piano deconstruction concert performances in London. It's an all black and white photo that's all over the internet when you look up his name. So I always think of it as an icon of his entire career. And I met these two artists who live and work in Newark, who do outdoor painting, a lot of murals, a lot of figurative work, And I asked them if they would do a recreation of this photograph for our wall, instead of blowing up the actual photograph itself, which we could have also done, in a black and white print, and just adhered it to the wall. And maybe a surprise that came is that one of the artists turned out to be one of Raphael Montañez Ortiz's former students, which was great. So it was like the circle was complete. I think Raphael Montañez Ortiz is such an important artist, and it's unfortunate that, in my opinion, in this country he continues to be under-recognized. He has a really huge career in Europe. He's in major collections there. He's been included in major texts. But, and in this country, it's beginning. I was really pleased to see that he was included in a show at the Smithsonian and Hirshhorn Museum just recently, last fall. Very important exhibition. And not only was he included, he was invited to do a piano destruction performance, and the piano destroyed became part of the Hirshhorn Museum's collection. So his significance, I think, is finally being understood to a wider group of people. I feel like this exhibition shows the extent of his ideas and how they were influential, maybe not directly, but deeply influential to later groups of artists that were working after he founded a museo. That way he continues to be an important figure because of the things that he did, his ideas, and the way he presented himself to